Yeah, we'll get started in a couple minutes. Toasty's gonna be here in a sec. All right, you can pull lo-fi down. Let's kick it off. All right, cool. Thank you everybody for showing up. I'm just gonna kick it off before Toasty gets here. Cover some stuff that he's not really close to right now. So in the last couple days, I see Willie just joined too. In the last couple days, it's looked like we're leaning towards sponsoring ETH Barcelona. So that's like a pretty cool update. The marketing's working closely with, trying to figure out logistics and some fun events and all that good stuff. But now that Toasty's here, you can kick it off, bro.
Cool. GM, everybody. Thanks for joining. I know we've had to move this office around like quite a bit. Just maybe it's temporary home since it is overlying with the what is it, stand up for engineering. So I think we're still working on some times. I think we're gonna find a better time. Once you get in a more stable position, I'll let everybody know. We'll do some good comms around it and promote it a little bit more. But yeah, for this one, this is our first office hour since All Fox. So I think the way we're going to handle a little bit is maybe give a quick update. I heard Hunt was just giving a quick update around like ETH Barcelona. I can give you guys a quick update of some of the other stuff that we've been working on and some of the direction that we're headed in terms of like user growth tracking. Give some updates around things like email, some of the social things we're working on, other promotions, merchandise stuff, and then from there we'll open it up to you all and do a nice Q&A because again, like I said, this is the first one after the all Fox. So maybe some people have some questions around our slide deck, some of the numbers that we're throwing out, some of the KPI goals we're trying to hit, or just want to pitch us marketing ideas or tell us we're doing a good job or a terrible job. Cool. So I guess to kick it off, Hunt, I heard you were talking a little bit about ETH Barcelona. I think a good like direction progression we can go from there is just talking a little bit about the good news that we being the foundation has acquired the email marketing list. As many of you saw, if you're previous like Shapeshift users or previous people on the marketing list, that you might have received an email yesterday or today around setting up your account, merging over accounts. That'll there was also us testing out the marketing list to make sure that we were like under GDPR compliance. It is our first email send that we've done, so we're super happy to have that. We'll be working closely with Willie Fox, who I think, yeah, he's on the call. So we'll be working closely with him on future initiatives around, email marketing, using it as leveraging it as a tool. So hopefully in the coming days, coming weeks, definitely not months, we'll be, doing more email blasts, catching people up to date, building out some of those lists, building out some of those journeys. There's a few people we're going to be talking to about helping us run kind of the email marketing, building up some of those journeys, but there could be the potential to have some extra bounty work in there as well. This becomes a fruitful tool for us to use. So that's a quick email update. Update for social is, we've kind of revamped a little bit of the social direction that we're taking. Setting up a meeting right now. We're building out social in a way that we're going to be keeping around ShapeShift, the traditional account, and it's going to be heavily focused on big announcements, big picture, a little bit more of the marketing, promotional, giveaway aspects. We have started up a new account, ShapeShift Tech. So if you haven't, go and follow that. I'll post a link in the chat later just so we can get some followers in on there. But that account's going to start building up to be more developer engineering focused, a little bit more memes focused, a little poke fun at the industry, a little bit more DeFi degen. So we're going to be working with 0x DeFi from engineering on that, building out that profile a little bit. That's going to be a place that GitHub pulls are going to be announced every time we do a new release. It's going to be announced in there. We're going to be working on collaborations in that new channel. It's going to be a lot more technical because it's something the community's been asking us for. Is more than just doing updates over Medium blogs or marketing. Has been having that kind of degen Twitter. So we're going to be building out that account, shortly. And then I guess the last update on my side is something I've been working closely on is the merchandise aspect. So it's a twofold project. We're working with two different vendors on two different projects for ShapeShift merch. The first one coming up sooner than later is actually working with MetaFactory. I've talked about it in the past. So we're actually going to be doing an AMA on the MetaFactory lunch call in the coming weeks. I think next week or the following week. Myself, Hunt, and Willie Fox will be talking on their lunch AMA, just talking to the MetaFactory community, telling them what the ShapeShift DAO does, what the project that we're going to be working on is. And then once we've kind of worked on that a little bit, we're in the final design phase now. So we're going to be doing to our knowledge, a hoodie, like a premium hoodie with, embroidery, minimalistic kind of design hoodie, really nice quality. And then a more kind of DeFi degen, bright colored t-shirt that's going to have a lot more quality, like a lot more quantity, a little bit cheaper to buy. And that's going to be our first open launch that we're going to be doing with MetaFactory. So we're going to do some cross promotion, cross marketing there. That'll earn us a little bit of quote unquote revenue, not in stable coins or crypto, but it'll earn us their robot token. So it could bring in a little bit of revenue there. But we've also, the big news too is we've also been working with TDM or Top Door Merch, who did our previous iteration. They're the ones that have been doing, Badger DAO, Bored Ape Yacht Club, Unit Yacht Club, like all of those, crypto NFT projects. They've been handling all their merch. While we, didn't see crazy sales with this last merch drop, and we got a lot of feedback that they wanted to see a little bit more design initiative put out, and I echo that sentiment as well. We're going to be working closely with Top Door Merch to, I don't want to give too much away, but doing some kind of merch capsule tied to an NFT that's going to have some utility both in the DeFi world, but also in the physical world in terms of ShapeShift parties, at different conferences that we're attending. So as that starts to develop a little bit more, I'll share with you all. But that's going to be a big project that we're hoping to generate a significant portion, well into the six figures of revenue in the coming 3 or 4 months. We're targeting a launch date around August. And with that too is also kicking back off the ongoing swag merch ShapeShift store, revamping those designs that you saw a little bit with them, having ready to ship quantity. So instead of having to do bulk orders like we did for the last launch, and you have to wait a couple weeks or a couple months for your hoodies, we're going to front pay a lot of that stuff. So that way people can come in, they can buy, socks, hoodies, t-shirts. We're going to also be working with them to try to find a way to, apply discounts if you are a Fox token holder to that merchandise. We'll also be using, the store to do a bunch of promotions, giveaways, free coupon codes, free swag. Working with them too to find a way to do employee or contributor level merchandise too. So the similar fashion, the way I brought it up is in the past at centralized ShapeShift, if you were hired as a new hire and we had a physical office, you would walk into the office on your first day on the job and there would be a bunch of hoodies and t-shirts and headphones and keep keys and all kinds of cool stuff sitting on your desk. We're going to be working with them in the future to kind of offer the same kind of thing to kind of show that a DAO can offer all the same things that like a traditional company maybe can offer in terms of, you know, making people feel like they're part of a community and also part of a company. So we're going to be working on a couple of those initiatives. And then, yeah, that's about it. What I've been focused on for this past like week and a half has been mostly those kind of things. And I think, you know, while it sounds, you know, just like a lot of merch and everything, the potential that we have with this NFT thing that we're going to be working on with Top Door Merch is a significant revenue stream for the DAO. And, you know, I want to say that we can try to push past that 6-figure to 7-figure revenue stream range in the coming months. But yeah, Hunt, is there anything you want to kind of talk about? Maybe give an update around LATAM and, you know, what we're working on there and globalization a little bit, and then we can kind of open up for questions.
Yeah, I'd rather direct people like directly to those calls, actually.
Sure, do
Just
that.
like LATAM updates are pretty extensive, and then globalization updates are there's a lot of new stuff to cover with LPX and the various things that he's doing. But those calls are definitely on the calendar, and I definitely recommend that anybody come to those. Beyond everything you talked about, I think you covered like half of the stuff I had in notes. But beyond that, there's some like miscellaneous stuff, and you know, continuing to like improve product launch and like engineering like support and trying to get like more social posts out that are more technical, like you were saying, is like definitely a major priority. Beyond that, like the miscellaneous items, like we have that GU Stakes like community like game sort of thing coming up. I think on the 15th or maybe the weekend of that week. So there's like a pretty significant prize pool. GU Stakes is putting together like a series with like over $10,000 in prizes and stuff like that. So our community is actually one of those sponsors. We've been involved for a while, even prior to them getting anybody else interested in funding the sponsorship. So we actually have like a leg up, and they're hooking us up with like a ton of cross promo that is pretty awesome. After that, addressing like the boardroom calendar and adding to like the boardroom newsletter and updates section is definitely a major priority. Reevaluating our colony bounties. I think that marketing, growth, and globalization is probably going to like start mirroring LATAM in a way in terms of like offering more bounties to people and stuff like that, and trying to really optimize like workflow in certain areas and try to take like from our successes and build on those. Yeah, and back to like I guess circling back to like the ETH Barcelona thing. We have like a lot of logistics to run on that too, that include like Grand Machine and LATAM running like merchandise production and like just running a bunch of logistics on that sponsorship. So there's a little bit of a lift there, but things are looking really cool. So I think it'll be really fun. I think it'll be a successful event. Willie's speaking, and like a whole bunch of cool people will be there, so it should be fun. We do have that staking rewards thing going on with some like a possible media buy proposal that will probably go up to forum from the staking rewards guys. I think that I sort of like came to an agreement and something that looks like pretty reasonable, and I think Toasty might agree with the current structure in terms of like a possible agreement with some sort of placement on staking rewards. So that's something that I want to present to the community is like something that I do support in the terms that will be presented that hopefully go up relatively soon. It's in like a final draft phase right now. So I'll be talking to those guys, and hopefully we have them come on and like do some sort of like discussion with the community and like talk to everybody and let them know like why the community should support like a $20,000 or $25,000 for a year like media placement on staking rewards and the benefits that it could bring us in terms of like direct revenue generation and like realistic like data that would actually be viable and like we could actually analyze its like validity and return on investment. And I think that's really all I have, Toasty.
Yeah, the last thing before we kick it over to Arena, I just want to bring up was the DAP back. So that's the last partnership that we're kind of working on, and we're building out a little bit more this month. And I'm about to actually send over my calendar to Diggy for next week to connect with product, and we're going to work through DAP back rewards, and we're going to work on So far, it's been really fruitful for us in terms of bringing people into our social. That's why we saw like a massive spike in the social, a bunch of people coming into our Discord, whether they're good users that stick around or people that just trying to earn a quick dollar. Like we'll see that in the coming weeks. But at a minimum, it was a $500 cost for this experiment, and it seems to be going really well. And I think there's a lot of potential there for what they're building. So we're going to work closely with product. And right now we have it kind of like more of like survey based. Tell us how you like Shapeshift. We're directing them to the Shapeshift web app. We're asking them to follow us on social, but I think we can use their tool to build out our journeys quite a bit more. So we can ask them to do specific things of like, are they staking their Fox? Are they like earning yields with Fox? Like, are they utilizing our product? Are they doing trades in our app? There's some levels of that we're going to be working on with DAPback. Higher incentives, higher rewards. We're also working and playing with them about doing custom NFTs as prizes, but also offering kind of like bounty, larger prizes in Fox tokens for people also doing other rewards at different DAOs just to kind of spread Fox out there and get the word out there. So that's something we're going to be working on in the coming, week or so, and hopefully we'll have, a new journey on DAPback in the next month. So that's pretty exciting. I was happy to partner with them. And then real quick, before I kick it over to Arena, the one thing that I saw getting a couple questions from PTT and Diggy around like the revenue stream for the merchandise, seeming kind of high, like in the six figures, if not higher. So without giving away too much, because we're still in the very early stages of like talking about what this structure, and without making any promise to everybody, the way that we're going to be doing it is similar to like what Badger DAO kind of did with theirs. They did a kind of like capsule or like a really nice high quality premium product that came in like honestly it got like shipped in like a really nice packaging. It gets paired with a one of 1,000, one of 2,000, one of 5,000 NFTs. So we're gonna have different levels, so we're still playing around with them now on like doing like almost like a bronze, silver, gold tier thing with the NFTs, also with the level of clothing in there. So like maybe the t-shirt's $50 to $75 and it gets you the bronze level, so on and so forth, up to the point of like for the top tier, we're looking at possibly in the range of $500 to $750 for like a couple items of swag, but also this NFT that not only unlocks maybe certain airdrops in the future from Fox tokens or access to like when we had the ETH Denver, after party thing that, Eric hosted and all that kind of stuff, like you're guaranteed at least a RSVP early access. Similar to what they do in a lot of NFT communities, which is like you get early access to certain perks. You find out about news a little bit. There's dedicated parties for you. So we're working with them now to build that out. And when you throw out numbers like that, if the gold tier is sitting at $500 to $750, and there's 750 to 1,000 of those, that's 500,000 right there. And to produce that merchandise and NFT, it's a very like pretty low cost. So just talking about 2,500 to 3,000 of these NFTs paired with swag, tied with how much revenue with a 70-30 split. We're still playing around with percentages. We're looking in the range of a revenue stream of, at the low side, 350,000, 400,000, to the high side of getting close to seven figures after all the merchandise has been paid for and everything too. So hopefully that explains a little bit. And, after Arena kind of kicks it off, we can chat a little bit more, pull somebody up on stage to talk about more of those questions.
Hey, thanks, Toasty. So I just wanted to give a quick update in relation to content production. So we have been working on refining the content production and launch cycle, which includes tracking all of our written content as well as graphics in relation to upcoming product integrations and any other topics of interest that we decide to cover. So I'm actually working with Tyler from operations to help us make this process more organized and structured. He's kindly offered to be that bridge between marketing, engineering, and product. So we're really grateful for that. And what we want to aim for is to be using Notion to organize all of this and keep most things out of DMs so that writers, graphic designers, translators, as well as reviewers are working off of the same system. hopefully leaving no room for confusion. And yeah, we'll keep everyone updated in relation to this. And you know, we can demo this during one of our office hours once this is finalized. So yeah, we're excited to have this more organized and finalized. Besides this, we've also started working with T. Wells on videos. We're looking to cover top stories happening in the DAO, just like we do with the newsletters, but obviously this will be more visual, which is great for community engagement. So we're excited to restart the videos again. And yeah, that's all from me.
Cool. Thanks, Marina. I appreciate you hopping up here.
No worries.
Cool. That was a lot of monologuing and talking and kind of answering a little bit of the questions. And I'd be happy to I see questions coming from PTT. I'd be happy to address more of those like questions, especially as we progress. We're in the very early stages of this. So we're still like in the ideation stage of, is there enough sell for this kind of level of price of merchandise or like people coming in from the NFT community. I'm not allowed to say too much, with like the NDAs that we do have with Top Tour merch, but I can say that other DAOs that have done this and other things that have done this have branched far outside of their actual community or have smaller like discords or communities than ourselves, have sold a lot more because they were reaching like the NFT audience, the people that had a broader range. So in my mind, just say if this was successful, we did this really well, generated a lot of revenue from it, we would probably open ourselves up for some of these tiers to host more events that cater to like the NFT community. So like obviously not this year because they decided to do it early, but like NFT NYC. If we did generate, somewhere north of the six-figure range, like for this, we could easily throw a party for $10,000, $15,000 and invite all these people at NFT NYC to come, and you would have had to purchase one of these NFTs that happened to come with a merchandise jacket. So a lot of times, $500 to $700 is nothing for like an NFT that potentially promises you a ticket into an event. And the fact that we be pairing it with a really high quality like merchandise that is going to be very limited, like all the jackets would be numbered. We only do 100 of these, 500, whatever it is. All the jackets would be numbered. All the NFTs are numbered. It could potentially tie into Fox rewards at some point too. Is like maybe they get their own set of pools that give them better rewards, or they get a Fox token airdrop, for a certain amount once we generate enough revenue. Like this, the potential is unlimited. So we should think of these more than just like, are you willing to pay $500 for a hoodie? I would say most people are no. But you would ask any person that's kind of like in the NFT trading aspect that likes to go to parties and kind of flex a little bit. Are you willing to pay $500 to potentially get like Fox token airdrops and go to a party? The overwhelming majority would be like, yeah, that's a bad gas fee on a mint day for some of these NFTs. But hopefully that answers the questions quite a bit. Yeah, thanks, Willie. 0.1 ETH, that's a steal, especially. But yes, it is. It is. We don't want to promise too much utility. That's we want to cap the utility of what we can actually leverage and do. And some of it's going to be a little bit more vague. It's for events, but we'll be playing around this quite a bit. They did this for Badger DAO. They did it for a lot of other things. So they have a track record of being able to pull this off successfully. Even on the low side of the numbers. That's when I say the low side is in these low, six-figure range. So obviously we're being optimistic here. I think if we market it correctly, we do a lot of, email marketing back and forth with them, with our pool, tapping into this NFT market a little bit. It helps us bridge the gap to this kind of like NFT sector where I kind of mentioned that like throwing 0.1 ETH, as Willie said, down on something is literally nothing. So like if we could tap into that market a little bit more, because we don't offer necessarily a product that caters to like the NFT community right now. There's unlimited money printing happening there, and it's a way for us to get to be part of it. Yeah, we could like I'm just reading through the comments. Yeah, we could be hunting NFT whales. But we're also trying to make it a nice quality product too that people would want to have just for the sweatshirt or the swag. And being able to pay in crypto, giving discounts for these people that are using Fox tokens. Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, sorry, I'm just reading comments so I can answer the questions. We'll definitely have a significant marketing plan in place with them. So right now, there are like the way that this is happening is that we're talking about structuring out the different tiers, structuring out, which merchandise we want to do, the percentage split from revenue stream for TDM and ourselves, and then also, which products we're going to go with, what our target audience is. Once we've kind of nailed down that as a quote unquote contract, it's not really the best part about this is not like a solidified contract where you owe them X amount of money if they don't fulfill it. We'll enter an agreement with them. That's when we start working on the marketing plan. That's when we start working on like, here's the target marketing, here's how much we're going to spend. Here's the places we're reaching out to, and that's when I can present to the community. I think, PTT, you'd be happy to see all of that. Cool. But is there any other questions around this? And yeah, I appreciate the questions and comments, and I think Willie mentioned it above. I share a very, very healthy skepticism of merchandise in the DAO world. I share a very not healthy skepticism of merchandise in the NFT world. You can pretty much make swag for all these stupid projects out in between that are just essentially infinitely printing money. But we have the benefit of offering the best of both worlds. We're going to be making a really nice NFT that their animation, partners are going to be working on. They're going to obviously work with us, work with Gray Machine, work with Hoff to, make a really nice kind of collective piece of art. And then it's up to us to provide a little bit of that utility that comes in, and then it's a great way to kind of get the ShapeShift name out there synonymous with DeFi, maybe a little bit in the NFT space. There's a lot of crossover. A lot of the people I talk to, like I'll be at NFT NYC in a couple weeks. A lot of the people I talked to while I was there even last year were very familiar with the DeFi space, and a lot of the people that are NFT whales, this isn't their first rodeo. There's a couple people there that got lucky that happened to buy a JPEG and they're at these conferences, but most of the people there have been in crypto for a while, or they've definitely at least been in the Ethereum eco space, and they're more on the DeFi kind of degen side. So if we could win some of those people over, they're doing trades. They might have a monkey as their PFP, but they're possibly doing hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars of trades. And we want to show them that, ShapeShift is the best platform, get them to utilize all of our tools, get them to utilize our app, find that right product market fit. And I think a lot of the people that are NFT whales could actually be a product market fit for what we're building with the decentralized version of ShapeShift. All right, take a drink of water, see if there's any other questions. Are there any hands raised? Does anybody want to ask any other questions? Could be about this project, could be about any of the other subjects we talked about.
No, I wanted to mention like some of the priorities in terms of like some marketing campaigns, like validator awareness, and like some of the upcoming product launches, and like some of the more technical like engineering like milestones and stuff that we've been experiencing. That's definitely like always a priority and should always be a priority for marketing to like maintain some sort of effort in that area. So it's definitely something we're focused on, and I really want to see like a validator awareness campaign that's successful, and just continue to like push as hard as we can towards like our revenue streams and see what kind of effect we can have there. But yeah, I'm excited that the email situation is clearing up, and we have a bunch of cool updates coming up for the next All Fox. So I'm excited.
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to see if there's any other questions there, so I don't have to keep typing and talking too much. But yeah, Arena, thanks for bringing that up. Products roadmap, they do have the OpenSea integration on there, so that is upcoming at some point in the future. If this is successful, it proves that we kind of need to possibly have NFT integration in ShapeShift in some way or fashion, utilizing our wallets across different platforms. If it is successful, but also as I kind of mentioned, it's more about like cross marketing into that ecosystem. There's very few people that I talk to that are holding decent size wallets of NFTs that are also completely enveloped in the DeFi space. There's quite a bit of handful of people that are just like NFT degens. That's all they deal with, but it's very, very small population. Most of the people that we'd be targeting or trying to bring into ShapeShift, we're not trying to bring them in for the NFTs. The NFTs are just kind of like a one-off. We're trying to bring them in for the ecosystem, trying to bring them in for the like potential parties, but then also just brand awareness and showing them that like all the DeFi stuff that they're doing on all these different platforms, they could be, satisfied doing it over on ShapeShift. And we happen to like tap into something they like understand as well, which is NFTs. So we're not necessarily trying to like attract just NFT users. We're trying to attract the DeFi users. It just so happens that most of these DeFi users are also NFT holders. So it's kind of like a little bit of like a cross work stream. The benefit we get there is that when we're marketing this, and target marketing is kind of target marketing someone like myself. So I can kind of put myself in the shoes a little bit more when we're trying to reach out to this certain audience. Like I'm somebody that's enveloped myself for some unknown reason in the NFT space over the past like year or two. But also at heart, long-term Bitcoin, and then getting into DeFi more over the past couple of years. So we're really trying to reach out to people like that. Yep, exactly. Thanks, Willie, for putting that in there. That's why Badger DAO saw such a success with this, is that they're not really tied to NFTs, but they use it as a marketing funnel, as community expansion. They're almost we'd be utilizing NFTs, in my opinion, for what NFTs are actually designed for. NFTs, while are great for PFPs of monkeys or stupid little JPEGs like I have in mind right now, those are fine, fun and dandy. You can get some utilities for PFPs. But in my opinion, like what the NFT space is like right for the picking down the road is being able to transact across spaces, utilize the same way that you're kind of being your own bank with crypto. With NFTs, you could control car purchases, you could purchase house, land deeds. Imagine being able to like, Willie wants to sell me a house and we don't have to use, third-party agents. He can just, transact over the Ethereum network, a house deed. We agree on a certain amount of money and boom, I'm the owner of the house. Like there's lots of things that can be done in the NFT space outside of just like pictures. So once we kind of break outside of that realm of like thinking what first foray into it.
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, man, it's a huge marketing funnel, especially with like large projects doing this exact same thing and trending in this area. Like a lot of those users, there is a percentage of those users that like know who Shapeshift is, right? Like successful in other areas. There's touched NFT like trends or anything in terms of like customer like acquisition, or trying to get our brand out there a little bit more to like those demographics, because it is a different demographic at the end of the day, in my opinion.
Yeah. And then what I saw, like talking about the email strategy a bit more. And what plan is in place for the email list we have access to now. So as I mentioned at the beginning of the call, we just sent out like a full email list wide to like 1.4 million plus emails. So that went out the other day, and I'll reach out to Willie and get some numbers on that to see how well it performed, how many more people unsubscribed, cleaning up the list a little bit more. But our plan, we're still working with Willie and the foundation right now, of like seeing the best practice for us going to be sending emails in the future. There's a lot of logistics handled on like the workstream leader side that we have to talk about with the foundation. But our best guess right now is really start building like an email marketing campaign similar to what we had at like centralized Shapeshift, using this list to do promotional aspects, drip campaigns. There has been somebody we've been talking to bring in, whether it's a little bit of bounty, a little bit of part-time, that is an email marketing kind of like expert, bring them in to work with Hunt and myself to kind of like build out a full email marketing campaign. And as soon as we have that, we'll be sharing that on the call. We'll be sharing that, publicly. All the document, we'll be building it out in Notion so people can kind of see the work that we're doing. But essentially it's been 7 months or 8 months of like no contact from this email list. So we have to do a lot of like nurturing, segmentation, building it out, revamping it, utilizing the list, getting all these automated campaigns set back up. So when people are performing certain actions, they get emails that they're, keeping them attracted, help out with retention rates. So just pretty much almost starting from scratch, but not really, because we have like a almost 7-figure list. So we're in a good place. But yeah, it's going to require a lot of work to get that coming up and going. And I'm, talking weeks, not months. So sooner than later. Cool. I don't see. Is there any other questions? Does anybody want to raise their hand, pop up on stage? Type it out in chat. I'll give everybody a little bit of time.
GM, I can't raise my hand,
Sure.
but consider this my hand raised.
Alright.
Hey guys. Loving hearing all the updates on the new social strategy. Also, I love the product updates with like stake and rewards. I'm excited about that for hopefully growing our stakes. DAP has proven to be a pretty great driver for things like social and stuff. So excited to experiment with some like product tasks in there, especially as they add support for being able to track when a user like stakes Foxy or deposits to your vaults. But I know there's a lot of interest on just this product marketing stuff, and we just had the All Fox. I think it'd be cool to look at the goals that you guys had mentioned at the All Fox. I was thinking, and talk about how, if there's no other topics, talk about anything that's been done so far, strategizing towards how we can hit those goals, or what the plans are, basically. Or maybe we can have some brainstorm here.
Yeah,
absolutely.
let's do it.
Yeah, I was thinking like that's one of like the big focuses, like on downtime, on like non-release days, to like maintain these like product launches, because it's nice to like shoot out like a one shot, like, hey, like a little like blog post or like social posts, but there has to be like a continued effort, especially if we want to increase like reps on a lot of like our products that aren't being utilized as much as they should, like the urine vault, for example, and other things. But definitely like trying to also prioritize like future like significant things in my mind, like YAT revenues and things like that are going to happen, and like big launches like Thorchain, and full like Cosmos product. But yeah, I definitely agree with you.
Totally. Definitely here, when you have all these like exciting features coming up, that are much more exciting to market and stuff, good to plan for that. And it's easy to also just like delay, because there's exciting stuff on the roadmap. I know that's something that like every startup pretty much faces this challenge, where like the sales team, typically it's where the sales team might like pump the brakes on sales because they're excited for a feature that's coming and stuff, and they want to wait for that, but then they can end up losing productivity, I guess, in the meantime, which, not saying that's what we're doing here, but yeah, I was wondering, like, first of all, I think it'd be cool just to look at the goals that we had talked about at the All Fox, because Growth pretty much said we're going to push for those goals this month, and see if there is anything we can do in the meantime, with the features that we do have, and like maybe some experiments we can run. I think that's an interesting thing that we can do right now too. Like this NFT experiment's interesting, but coming up with other kind of just experiments that we can run to see, can we acquire users and increase some of these things that we can track right now and that do drive revenues, just so that when we do have more functionality and stuff and we're ready to do bigger marketing pushes, we've figured out which channels work the best.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's one
I'm
of
trying
like
to pull up
the
the slide right now.
yeah. I don't know if do you have like the Zoom link that you could share that with Toasty so we can show people?
I'll just throw this slide up. Just give me a second. I'm trying to pull up the All Fox slide.
Cool.
This is the All Fox slide deck.
I'm thinking that could be a good move, because sometimes we get less viewers on the Zoom than in the audience on the stage. Maybe just
yeah, we just posted it.
Pasting
Everybody
the
can have
slide.
access to it.
Yeah.
If somebody beats me to the All Fox slide, feel free to throw it up.
First one to get the All Fox slide wins. Let's see.
Like,
On the April All Fox. Where's May All Fox?
Yeah, one thing I wanted to see, like something out of like Lindsay's not here today, so I don't want to like dive in too much. But one thing
that's a big.
It's like an ongoing like PR push for like Osmosis and like Thorchain and stuff like that, like a series of PRs that we can somehow like embargo out. It's like a more touch and go, I guess, conversation to have with her.
Yeah, she is. I can attest that. Like, so Lindsay's not here on this call, but she is working on some cross promotional big stuff with PR and Thorchain. So that's a PR outlet. I'll let her speak more on the PR aspect. The one thing I will touch on while we pull up the slides, I think it starts at slide 14 as well for the marketing. If everybody has the deck and the link. But one thing I will touch on, at least say, is that the overall positivity we've seen coming out of hiring Lindsay and having this PR direction has been really refreshing. And the overall goal there should be helping drive name recognition, but also bringing, normalization and people over to the ShapeShift DAO. So overall, she's been doing a great job of that. That's been, moving full speed ahead. But as we look at some of these other things, let's look at slide number, did I say 14? I think it's slide 13.
Yeah, that's one of the major things though, man. We really do need a series of PRs to bring more awareness to the products being there still, because there's probably a segment of people that are Shapeshift is still around status, in their mind. They haven't cracked their wallets in years. They really don't care, in some cases, but they have large holdings, right? Reawakening them through that email list and paralleling, having PRs running constantly, have a solid month of really good news coverage on important releases. It'll be really clutch, and there's really nothing that we can do that would be better than that at the end of the day. So it's something that has to happen.
So looking at some of the stuff we pulled up here, Willie, one of the first ones I fiat on ramps, off ramps. Look at those numbers. The first thing I could say of us trying to hit that is using tools that we have at our disposal right now, which is going to be, Hunt and I've talked a little bit about paid, whether it be Brave ads or something, Mellow ads, something a little bit on the cheaper side, kicking back off, like you mentioned, kind of jump starting these initiatives again of kicking off a little drip campaign of buying crypto super easy with ShapeShift. So kind of kicking that back off that we used to have at centralized ShapeShift, and then tying that together with email campaigns that are going on continuously for that same thing. So that's one way we're looking to optimize for just say the fiat on ramp, off ramp. So hopefully that kind of answers your questions of brainstorming, what are we doing around that? Email targeted with also paid at a very low spend, while doing a little bit of PR social around that. So running these campaigns simultaneously, using those lists, keeping cost relatively low, because we have seen in the past that unfortunately with some of the fiat on offer, maybe it's different now, because again I'm going off a base what we had it centralized. Maybe more people are willing to click on ads to buy crypto. So it's something we need to start experimenting with. The first thing I'm going to experiment with, and it'll test some of those platforms again, is small budget ads, mellow ads, on ramp, off ramps. So that's
the first phase though,
just to test it.
The first phase with that whole actually hitting actually being able to see any growth or increases really started with the baseline items that we have available, which is staking rewards being the first real viable paid ad solution, right? That we could first media buy that seems viable for the DAO, in my opinion, so far. Well, the new version that will come out hopefully in the next day or two. And then beyond that, driving people to the app and some of our products that are seemingly we have a lot of users that are just asleep, basically hibernating. Hopefully the email list covers that a little bit, and it gives us some sort of baseline growth, and we can see how those things actually worked. The major thing I just said though will be PRs, having a series of PRs go out about features. We've had a couple recent media successes, but still nothing to the degree that I think that we will have in the near future, especially with some of the things that we're about to release as we do achieve major milestones in migration from legacy over to new products, and our main focus is now. So I'm pretty hopeful in the things that we do have cooking right now, realistically speaking. But like Tosi was saying, I think it would probably be reasonable to try to find another media buy solution or some sort of paid ad solution that's actually reasonable for the DAO, especially because they can turn into huge money pits, and it's something that everybody needs to keep in mind. We could try to run paid ads, but I'm not sure everybody can cope with some of the results that we could see testing new traffic sources. So it's definitely something to keep in mind at the end of the day, because they can be like pretty hard to digest when you are buying shitty traffic for too long. But yeah.
Sweet. All that sounds great. Thank you guys for sharing all that. I'm really excited to see how each of these go. I totally hear you that, once we have some more functionality, it's going to be a lot easier to market, I think. Right now, we have to kind of get creative, but, our numbers aren't super high right now. So we've set these goals. These all sound like great experiments that can hopefully help us hit the goals this month and also learn a lot about what does work well, how much is it costing us at this point to acquire users and stuff. That'll all be really good data, and yeah, hopefully we can show some growth. I think it is just really important to show growth right now, month over month, and it's it'll be much easier once we have some more functionality in there. But there is some cool stuff we can market now, like as you guys were talking through that, I'm really excited about the staking rewards one. I agree they've got great SEO. A lot of people are looking, or I've landed on that site multiple times myself, just looking for places to stake assets and what the yields are. So excited that we can kind of have a decent coverage and growing coverage as we add more of these protocols. And also, yeah, just props on, I know you guys got, their initial offer was like 250K or something that Pete had got from them, and you guys got it down to like a tenth of that, plus got this really awesome got us an offer to be a free verified provider when they only have 2 verified providers right now. So that's freaking awesome.
Yeah, and it's like that's like the macro, like really like cool stuff, but there's like micro initiatives too that I always forget to like mention here, and that's why I try to get people to come to like some of the other calls that are associated with the work stream. Like with LATAM, like having them do like Banxa campaigns, right? Like having them like tell like everybody that they possibly can, that like people in Brazil can like use ShapeShift to buy crypto and trade crypto. And that is like a utility because it's like convenience, right? Because like sometimes it's really hard for people in Brazil to like buy with some fiat on ramps, but you can with ShapeShift apparently. So like there's like a ton of like small initiatives and like small like tests that I'm doing to try to like, even using like free traffic, right? To try to see if there's like numbers that and like different like customer segments that we could be hitting easily. So
Yeah, and then I think for like the broader conversation, also to fill some people in that maybe aren't too familiar with like kind of like marketing initiatives, a good one to point out on here, Willie, on the slide too, is like the increased trade volume. So like what does ShapeShift do well now? Like we can't, like you said, we can't always wait for like what's the new feature that we're going to be loading in, what's the new product that we're going to be launching. We have to market what we have now and get people in. So when new stuff comes, they're already a user. So it's essentially going to be running campaigns that are going to be tied together. Like email is not the silver bullet, but email tied with a press release, tied with social, and then tied with a little bit of paid. That's when we can start digesting these numbers and understanding a little bit better of which of these is going to be like our target audience and target. We're going to be spending most of our time. So for like the trade volume one, like one of the initiatives I'm working on right now is a marketing plan that's kicked off around essentially the reason to use like this awesome DeFi open source like protocol like web app thing that we're building out is like the ability that we don't charge any fees on top of it. Like 90% of these other 99% of these other like places that you go, like we're not collecting fees. Obviously you have to pay gas fees and you're paying fees for whatever protocol they're like utilizing and stuff, but we're not charging any fees on top of that. So in my mind, we kick off a marketing campaign that's tied around like a press release. It's tied around like an email marketing push and a little bit of paid and a lot of bit of social. And then we see which ones are performing. We see how we like to gauge the traffic that's coming in. What's the retention rate of these people performing trades on the site? Are they just coming in to utilize? What kind of users are those? So we're in the collecting data phase. So by like multiplying those campaigns for each of our features, that's essentially how we're going to be doing it. We're not trying to like reinvent the wheel here. We're running traditional marketing campaigns, a little bit of guerrilla tactics thrown in for each of these initiatives, and just kind of, Willie would like this too, but like there's some that used to work at ShapeShift with us, like Cam would always say, we're going to be throwing a shit ton of spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Heck yeah.
And yeah, seeing what sticks. So we're going to be doing that for each of these segments a little bit. Something's got to stick. Once we find what sticks, utilize that, ramp it up, but then also start throwing more spaghetti at the walls because it's crypto. And in about a couple weeks or a couple months, what worked won't work anymore. We saw it at centralized ShapeShift. We'll see it at decentralized ShapeShift. We'll see it in future crypto initiatives. But if we think about like traditional marketing efforts, that's kind of what we're going to be using to like accomplish some of these goals in the next couple of weeks, the next couple of months, or at least testing. I have no problem coming up to Allfox and being like, hey, we missed 50 to 75% of these goals, but look at all this great data that we have. And now I think next month, let's like revamp and work on what did work and get rid of stuff that didn't work. So, I'll be the first one to say that like, if we hit all these goals, it'll be a miracle. What we're really trying to do is we're trying to reach lofty goals, bring people into the platform, seeing which, avenues that they came in, which ones work, which ones don't work, which ones we could put money behind, and then which ones we need to develop more or put more teamwork or thought process behind. And then killing the ones, taking it out back behind the barn and shooting the ones that don't work. So that's essentially what we're going to be doing over the coming weeks. But yeah, we'll have more of these office hours. We'll have more of these, like, I'll start opening up the meetings. And as always, like, once I have a marketing plan in place, we do most of our communications through like the public channel. So like I'll send out a Google Doc that'll have like, here's going to be like the 6 emails that we're sending in tandem with the paid ads that we're running. So should see some cool stuff happening the next week or two.
Sweet, dude. That all sounds really great. I'm super excited and glad to hear that you guys are working on all these different things and trying things out and open to failure. I totally agree. Not all these things are going to succeed. We're not going to hit the goals every goal every month, but as long as we're trying and learning and still hopefully growing, right? As long as numbers going up to some degree, we're trending in the right direction. So I'm excited to hear all this. And I'm thinking too, like there are some things right now that I think, even though we don't have all the functionality, it's hard for us to point at things that the product does right now and say this is the best, because it's a competitive space and there's a lot of features that you can at least get in one place right now that aren't super unique yet. But I think there are some things that are unique already. And like one of them that I was thinking of is the fact that we're community owned and open source. And I wonder if we can do some experiments around that and see if that's a compelling thing that can drive users. I have seen that work really well for like Tally, for instance. It's like the MetaMask competitor that's community owned, and they've been able to build a really strong community, not on like that they have functionality that MetaMask doesn't have yet, just that it's community owned, basically. And if you come be a part of the community and stuff, you can get some Tally tokens and have ownership in it. So I think there might be some creative stuff we can do around that. The fact that we're community owned, open source, private, free, non-custodial. We just launched this decentralized front end. So decentralized is hot. I think there might be some interesting stuff we can do there while we wait to get more of the features that will actually make our product the best. And some interesting things to do around. Yeah. I was thinking there might be some opportunity for a campaign around like the fact that you can buy Cosmos right now and stake it and do that from a keep key. So maybe like some interesting combo campaign there. Up to you guys if you think that's
like what you're saying, like initially, like it would definitely be good to see like a circle back on actual like decentralization now that the foundation is like around now, right? And I think that it is probably time for like another push. We did one like 9 months ago. I think it would probably be pretty good for like the community and like holders and like potential investors and like whoever to probably circle back on that fact, because at the end of the day, like if you just look at the data on claim rate, if we have the same amount of like attention, like acquisition, like as our claim rate on the Fox airdrop, then we probably didn't get through to people that we decentralized, right? In my opinion, not to the numbers that we expected to. I think that's pretty like apparent. It should be. It's like the numbers are there, right? We can't expect more people to know than claim the airdrop, right? Like at best, we can at least expect those people to know. So I think that it would probably be like important to circle back for sure, and I would definitely like to talk to Lindsay about like how we could do that best, because she's the best at that. But yeah, I definitely agree with you on that.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm excited for whatever campaigns come out of that, and I think that'll help tee us up. Like if we can focus right now on spreading the word, or like try this experiment out, get the word out that we are community owned, that we are decentralized. People updated on like the new vision for ShapeShift, who might not be familiar with the ShapeShift over the past few years. I think that will help then when we come out with all these product announcements in the coming months. It'll help amplify those subsequent announcements.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's something we're working towards, and starting some of these campaigns. I think in the coming days and coming weeks, like we'll have a lot of initiatives going off. What you just talked about being community owned, that aspect's a really strong use case thing. Some of the other stuff we're looking at too is like the ease of use it is for like the web app and stuff, like the frictionless. I don't know if you saw that. I've been like hammering home a little bit just on social about like the demo wallet and stuff. And essentially right now what we're trying to do, and we'll probably actually have to, maybe next week even schedule another meeting with product and possibly engineering and talking about our value prop at a DAO level, or I would say company level, but at a DAO level, talking about what value props we do have now and establishing like where that market fit for it is right now. So I know we're already trying to do like product marketing fit where we fit in, but at least we can add value prop, like, and we can have discussions around, I know we used to do that quite a bit at Centralized, and it was super helpful. It was like we all come to the table of our favorite things that ShapeShift does and our least favorite things that ShapeShift does, and assigning like value prop and how we can market for that. And then for us, we run with that and say, okay, cool, let's market that value prop that we all agreed on is like one of the strongest ones. And then I think product in the past would take away too of like, hey, we talked about a value prop that's missing here. Maybe we can develop something to, accomplish that need in the future. So I think running something like that, similarly like we used to in the past, will be super helpful. That
I think we are running like campaigns like that, man. Like we had T-Wells like put together that video for Coinbase Cloud that hasn't been used yet. So like there are like certain initiatives in place that are exploring like certain things like that. I think that we're in pretty good shape with like especially with Gray and T-Wells like getting together and working on content that's like high value to the point of people, like Coinbase Cloud wanting to use it in the future as like collateral, marketing collateral. I think that goes to show that we're definitely producing like valuable content in those areas, but I think that like finding more and more opportunities like that to like do more effective cross promotion where, we're actually getting like real significant like viewage is like critical. I think those PRs will definitely help, and hopefully we have like good data from the email list. I'm definitely excited to check it out.
Yeah, for sure.
Sweet. Well, thanks for letting me take
Cool.
up much time. Yeah. And
No,
someone else
I'm glad you did.
Okay, cool. That's all from me for now. I appreciate you guys, and again, looking forward to seeing the results of all these experiments this month.
Yeah, thanks for hopping up here, Will. I appreciate it. Yeah, because we did want to chat a little bit about, All Fox and stuff. This was the first marketing hour off of All Fox, so lots more coming. We'll get a better time established that more people can attend, especially from engineering and stuff, and then try to do more broader updates. But yeah, overall, we're headed in the right direction. I think the product's being developed really nicely. We're getting access to tools that we've been waiting months for. That is super promising, and stuff kicking off like staking rewards, other paid aspects, and then hopefully some cool NFT swag stuff. I think that's going to be a sleeper hitter. Like I'm hedging my bet a little bit on that, and it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out. Cool. Was there anything else for closing stuff, Hunt, that you want to say, or?
No, yeah, I'm happy with current status right now, and yeah, I'm excited to see how we can grow. So let's do it.
Cool.
Thanks,
And
Dusty.
if anybody's at ETH Barcelona or going around that area, let us know. We'll put you in connections with people that are going to be there. Same with NFT NYC. If you just happen to be there, want to grab a drink, say hi, I'll be there. I might be running something pretty fun there, even though we don't support NFTs. We can always give out Fox and do some kind of cool scavenger hunt around the city. Because we got to remember, target audience for NFTs is also DeFi degens. So yeah, we'll be doing some fun stuff there as well. So hopefully you can connect with you guys at one of those. Well, I'm going to end it here. If you want to bring back up Lo-Fi, and then have a great rest of your afternoon.
just going to give it one more minute for people to roll in.